have any further information about this. So we will not be able to answer any questions about this. It is under investigation by the City of Mount Vernon detectives and other police officers. What I would like to say is that these events that happened over the weekend were not in any way sanctioned by the City Council. Let me just say that in doing some research, I found out that in section 99C of the City of Mount Vernon Charter, it says, he, meaning the Recreation Commissioner, as subject to the approval of the City Council, fix the fee to be paid by the public for the use of such facilities. We had no knowledge of these events that were taking place on Saturday or Sunday. We will be providing legislation within the next 2 weeks to state that any event with over 50 people must go through legislation of the City Council to go on in the City of Mount Vernon. Now, we had something here that we did not even know about that is being publicized. There were thousands or 1,000 people on Saturday night. There were no police officers because the people that did this event had NYPD security or duty security officers there. On Sunday, I believe that there were only 2 officers, security officers, that were paid by the people doing the event. So once again, our police were not notified in any way about these 2 events. Councilwoman Lisa Copeland has more to share with you with that, so I'm going to turn this over to Councilwoman Copeland.
And also, I think we gave to the news people a copy of the applications. Back in, maybe it's about 10, maybe 15 years ago, we had a situation where a lot of community groups were asking to close off streets to have events. And my office, I was city clerk at the time, and my office came up with a special events permit application to kind of streamline the process and make sure that all the I's were dotted and everybody had a uniform, gave it a uniform thing. So as part of the procedures, and I'll read from it directly, and certainly the clerk's office, you can get a copy of it down there, but it says application processing procedure. Please submit the completed application with the requirements listed above to the city clerk's office at least 6 to 8 weeks prior to the event. And this is for a non-city sponsored event. There's a different one for city sponsored events, but please, as I said, allow at least 6 to 8 weeks prior to the event, but no more than a year in advance. This will allow sufficient time for the processing of the application and the required legislation to be enacted by the City Council. The application must be forwarded to the police, fire, and public works departments for approval to ensure that the event meets the requirements of each department. This review process may require additional time if questions arise with respect to your event. The City of Mount Vernon reserves the right to reschedule your event if it is determined that additional time is needed for proper review and planning. And please make sure your application and required letters, ads, and notifications are as detailed as possible. And this application is a very long checklist, you can certainly have it. And part of the reason we did it was to streamline it and to make sure all departments were notified when events like this take place. So apparently the ball was dropped somewhere, and we certainly can't allow it to happen again. But as the council president said, we'll be moving with some legislation. Anything over 50 people will require legislation going forward. So thank you. That completes my comment.
From a financial planning's perspective, it was alluded to at one point that the police were not at the events because they did not have enough police officers ready and able to go to the event for the emergency. We've done our research with the finances for the city. know that there are 12 open positions of police officers that need to be filled at this time, whether it be from officers retiring or transferring out. So when you hear the illusion that there are not enough police officers, that is not true. We have 12 open positions currently to fill for police officers. We wanted to make that clear. Madam President.
Controller Walker, do you have some comments to make?
I just think that this is a very unfortunate situation, and people must understand that in prior years, events like these have always gone to the City Council for approval. We need to make sure that that continues to happen, so that we cannot continue to have these unfortunate, occurrences. Again, our sympathies are with that family, and don't believe that there aren't enough police officers. As Mr. Griffin has said, there are 192 right now that we have positions for, and there are 12, as he said, that are currently positions to be filled.
And I need to extend apologies on behalf of Councilman Edwards and Wallace. I know Councilman Wallace is on the way, because since we were kind of coordinating this, and I was in Albany all day yesterday, so they kind of got later notification than the other two. So I need to apologize on their behalf. They're certainly supportive of us in this press conference.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. I'd like to just say that Mayor Thomas puts things out that it's the council. It's always the council that are doing things wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, we have a runaway mayor here who has chosen not to listen to the charter in any way, the same way as the residency requirement. He just decides that he's going to overstep his boundaries and do as he feels. Because if that were the case, that he followed the charter, then we would have Corporation Counsel not here any longer, since he lives in another jurisdiction. So we have, in so many ways, tried to work with this mayor, and every day it's something different. No matter what it is that we try to do, and you can please speak to the council members about this, whatever it is that we try to do, we get a slap in the other hand. I don't know what else to say about this incident. It's very, very unfortunate. It may not have happened if there weren't those thousands of people. And the one on Sunday was a very, very rowdy one that we understand was posed with nudity and bad behavior, alcohol, and an absorbent amount of alcohol being used. This is one of the reasons why last year, when this was done, and they wanted to do this party again, we said that they couldn't do it. We have been saying this for over a year. Somebody was going to get hurt. And unfortunately, this happened. So if anyone has any questions for the council or myself, we'll take them.